Gotta keep warm in this chilling weather. Hood's like this because my headphones are on. Got a little extra accessory here. So, let's get down to business, shall we? One of you spoke about conspiracies that I spoke with you in person on, and the previous video I spoke on the doomsday clock and the art of this experience being a simulation, which after some of my recent research has led me back to more conspiracy theories. However, this right here is a conspiracy. I said to myself, as I came across more data about the Epstein files, it just popped up. You know, everybody's talking about it, so it popped up in my feed. I saw Tyrone Magnus talk about it. I wonder how many other big influencers are talking about it. I'm not a religious person, but I'm spiritual. There's something everything came from. There is a source. I like to refer to it as source. Some of you refer to it as God. Some of you refer to it as Allah. It's all the same, really. This email that was leaked, apparently with Hillary Clinton, some things lit up in my neurons, some areas. There's an Egyptian individual that I really like. My mother likes Hercules. She likes Ben-Hur. There are some others that she likes. I grew up on a lot of Greek mythology. I learned a lot of it from my mother. In fact, my mother was one of my best teachers. I even learned my spelling from her. Thoth was known to have a resurrection chamber. I did research and the AI could not determine any results, but that doesn't mean it's not true. The same was said about the traces of electromagnetic energy around the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was, at this point, it's pretty well known that it was used as something, quite possibly energy generation, wireless communication, both wireless. Now, this is new data, and a lot of certain communities and organizations have not yet tackled this. This is kind of a dangerous subject here. Because if somebody could resurrect themselves, then that means evil and greed would keep coming back for more and more, like, Lord Sidious, fulfill your destiny. I had to get that right. Do it. You know, like Nike. Just do it. Do it. Do it, Anakin. So, that being said, Thoth was known to have a resurrection chamber. Thoth was also known to take many mantles throughout his different iterations. There's the Nephilim. And then there's the Great Flood. Now, I have not yet pulled together the data, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at exactly where our magnetic field strength was during the time of the Great Flood. I'm going to be looking at exactly how the sun was behaving during the time of the Great Flood. Because there's a lot of things that come out of the Bible, if you observe it from a scientific or a historical research perspective, you'll tend to start seeing things in a different light. One thing I've come to know is that Adam and Eve were not the only ones. There were still humans during that time. There were still a lot of things going on then. And this is starting to spread because of those hidden scrolls that were found near Egypt that were hidden by a monk of sorts way back when. So a lot of things that were suppressed by the organized religion, some of these pieces of data, intel, is becoming more and more known, more and more widely known. And this is what I was going back to saying, this type of technology. Now, if you look at Stargate, the movie with Kurt Russell, the first one, and even Stargate SG-1, the first couple or several episodes, they still delve heavily into that lore of utilizing that sarcophagi to not only regenerate one's body and soul and whatever, but also to regenerate their DNA, increase their lifespan. It's all the same thing, you know. With Teal'c, the Jafar, and all this, these different types of species. Now, there's not only just human here on Earth. There are many different kinds, and there are other energetic species too, and there are other physical species that also they are tuned. A resident, where you live, where you exist, the resident frequency, the frequency in which you are naturally tuned from your birth, in which you start existing, where you came to be, where your iteration started, where your manifestations started, where your incarnation started, where it stays naturally, where its natural frequency is. This is where you start getting into multiple dimensions existing in the same space. And this is where other beings have developed technologies and are able to traverse different dimensions based off of the vibration. You know, like Nikola Tesla said, you need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, because they all play a part in it. And, you know, so with the Nephilim, there is more than one type of species and race. And most likely there were other beings that were not from this planet that were interbreeding with us, and quite possibly genetically engineering, because we are doing that right now. So it should not come to any surprise to any of us that any of these other intelligent races that are far more capable of us technology-wise has the ability to do such genetic manipulation and create other types of subspecies of their kind. We could very well be a byproduct of that. Can't close the door on it. You have to keep an open mind on this thing, on these type of things, you know. So that's very, very important. This is a little piece of disclosure right here, because people very high up, some of them know a lot of stuff. I still think Michael Jackson knew a whole lot more than what he was letting know, and even Prince knew. But I digress. There's a lot that's going to be happening this year, even more so than last year. We've already hit January, and I even spoke to a close friend of mine, and I said I had the opportunity to become a CIA agent, and I had the opportunity to become an ICE agent. And the light turned off. So when it comes down to that, there's so much corruption going around. If you choose the wrong job, you will lose people. You will lose friends. You will lose those closest to you did not think that you would lose. And this is the main reason why I did not take up jobs like this. Payout was really good, but there's too much political turmoil going on. And a lot of people have to understand what's actually going on because I haven't chosen a side and because I'm not polarized to see what's going on. We have a system that was never overhauled. So any criminal that comes from the outside and sees that and sees other criminals here, yes, those that are born here, that are doing all the scamming and stuff, because we have a lot of scammers here too. Not just India, not just Britain, everywhere, but also definitely here, all sorts. So that being said, with all of the misdirection, the propaganda, there are a lot of people who want to stay in power and they will do whatever it takes to keep that power. But it's not going to remain. Because as Big Brother watches us, we are starting to see all the mistakes that Big Brother's making, and we are starting to call him out on it and snitch on his mother. And he's getting a butt whooping. He's getting a little spanking. Take the belt off, start rapping, and go stand in the corner. So that's basically what's happening. Not a lot of people want to really look at it like this. I don't hate the president, and I don't have Trump derangement syndrome, but I also don't agree with everything that the president does, and I don't agree with everything that Elon Musk has to say. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be protesting outside of any of his places just because I want to make money. There are other people that may do it and are not for getting involved with the polarities, opportunists. However, when I set my sights on something, I ain't quitting. I ain't giving it up now. Being silly. Giving up is not an option, as I said before. So when I make a goal and I make steps, they will be done, however long it takes. And that's the point. We cannot control how things happen, but we can control how we react to it. And how we react and observe changes everything. The power of observation, the double slit experiment. So the Freemasons, they know about the Nephilim. Yes, they are real. These giants are real. And there's a lot more that exists. There's a lot more that's going to be unveiled. And it probably needs to happen at the right time to jolt people out of their psychotic stupor that they are in. Like going to the movies and something crazy happens and your eyes widen and you're glued to the screen at that point because you're like, whoa, I did not see this coming. I think I better pay attention so I know what's going on here. This is what's going to happen. Doomsday clock is at 85. We're living history. So it's bad when there are certain jobs that you may want to take that you can't take because you know that certain people will see you as an enemy even though you're not an enemy. And these type of things happen when SWAT first came into focus. People thought the police had too much power. But ICE has been around for a while. So it's all about removing the baddies. Like J. Edgar Hoover with his gay self. Removing the baddies from these really powerful organizations. And once that's done and competent people that are good can be put there, these type of organizations can be more relied upon and they can be seen upon in a much better light to know that they are protecting us instead of committing to voyeurism. So that's what I have for now. More technology will come to us, but only when the time is right. Only when the time is right. Because we was given an atom. We was given an atom. Okay? Now I'm going to say it right. We were given an atom. And we split it and created lots of destruction. We did not create more. And we did not use it as a template to make some other type of artificial type of energy. We made it into a weapon. What do you think we would do with element 115 and that type of generator? We would make it into a weapon, and a lot of things would be obliterated right now. It would be like Project Sundial. We'd make something so powerful and not realize it at that point, like the Russians and their, was the Fat Man? They created that. But we realized what we were making. We're like, Sundial, no, that's too much. We don't need that. You can't wage war when you're destroyed too. So with all this powerful technology, it's the whole reason why we're being drip fed everything that we're being drip fed. Everyone's being crazy. A lot of people are polarized. A lot of Americans are psychotic, sociopathic, all of that. No, I don't want all these mass people holding on to this type of technology. These smartphones are dangerous enough. They can already end the world. You can use it to hack a system, cause a malfunction, and create a nuclear war, Skynet scenario. All sorts of things can be done with these smartphones. They're very powerful pieces of equipment. But then again, so is a PlayStation and an Xbox. And a smart TV, if you know how to utilize all this stuff in the right way, you can weaponize it crazy. And things are already weaponized to an advertising degree. So all this technology has to be taken care of in a very responsible sense. Otherwise, we might be obliterated just like that. And things are already changing. Climate change, carbon footprint is nonsense. These politicians don't know squat about science. They don't study the data. They don't study the geomagnetic excursions. They don't study the climate change that goes on naturally, because there's an era where it's warm, there's an era where it's cold, there's an era where it's kind of in between. It always happens that way. It's supposed to. Things never stay the same. We're never going to stay in the same position that we are in. Not in this Goldilocks zone. Not forever. The human lifespan is very interesting, but a cosmic lifespan is where you see everything take shape. So we're just like very microsec type existent type thing. We're kind of like the Solarians for Mass Effect. Not that long of a lifespan, especially when it can, compared to a cosmic scale, right? That may change, though, with the advent of more technology being released, because it is said that humans used to live for hundreds of years. But we'll find out. Until next time.